I began my research open to finding acts of heroism, dark secrets, and things in between. But investigating events in the mid-19th century is quite different from interviewing witnesses to a recent massacre. What books or resources existed that might help me understand the Tomlinson story, white and black? The only option was to start Googling and digging, to thumb through book indexes, and to search university databases. I sent emails to historians, asking for their help in understanding what had happened and why. The first things I needed were family trees. That led me to Ancestry.com. I filled in a few blanks with Ariel's name, my grandfather's name, and my own, and soon I had my family tree. I gained access to census forms, draft registration cards, and old phone books. Scrap by scrap, I put together an outline of my ancestors' lives. I searched for LaDainian's family and found a tree started by a Tortia T., LaDainian's wife, LaTortia. She had not logged in for some time, but her tree gave me a starting point for the Black Tomlinsons. I found a few books about Falls County. A sentence here and a reference there helped me add to the family tree and create a timeline. I scoured the Falls County Library in Marlin. I spent days in the Falls County Courthouse, collecting deed and probate records. Slowly, I pieced together why the Tomlinsons had come to Texas from Alabama. In 1848, James Kendrick Tomlinson, known as Jim, was living in Conecuh County, Alabama, when the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo ended the Mexican-American War. The peace deal opened a territory 4 times the size of France to American settlement. It wasn't long before land speculators were visiting Alabama and promoting the virgin lands in Texas, California, and the other territories the United States had acquired at the end of the war. Newspapers told stories of poor men who traveled west and became fantastically rich by clearing a few acres of land and throwing some seeds on the ground. But Jim wasn't sure Texas was the right place for his family. At the age of 35, he already had a large plantation and owned 33 slaves to tend to his cotton and cattle. His wife, Sarah, had borne 3 sons and a daughter, and while Jim wasn't the wealthiest of men, he had a comfortable life. He had plans to build a steam-powered sawmill on the Conecuh River to diversify his business. Jim was also close to his elder sister, Susan Tomlinson Jones, who lived nearby. Jim and Susan were born in Georgia, but their parents had moved to Alabama when they were teenagers. That was in the 1830s, when Alabama was the land of opportunity. Jim met his wife, Sarah, in Conecuh County, and her family, the Stallworths, lived nearby. Susan's husband was Churchill Jones, who had amassed a fortune by developing plantations across the South. Churchill was born on Cherry Walk, his father's tobacco plantation near Bowling Green, Virginia. He graduated from Rappahannock Academy and Military Institute and moved to Evergreen, Alabama, where he became a school teacher and developed a cotton plantation. He had a reputation for being proud and aggressive. He was prominent in the community and had served in the Alabama legislature, representing the Whig Party. Before the Industrial Revolution, entrepreneurs made their fortune buying land, developing it, and then selling it at a profit. Jones had already lived in 3 states, and when he heard that cheap land was available in Texas, he went on a prospecting tour in the upper Brazos Valley in 1849. He found a virtually untouched territory. The Mexican-American War had discouraged pioneers, but the military activity had driven off most hostile Native Americans. The soil in the valley was rich and fertile. The Brazos is Texas's longest river, stretching more than 1,200 miles, from the New Mexico border through the middle of Texas and emptying into the Gulf of Mexico at Freeport. The water is almost always brown with silt. Wide and relatively shallow, the river frequently floods and produces rich alluvial soils, perfect for farming. But the violent floods prompted the Spanish to name it Rio de los Brazos de Dios, or the River of the Arms of God. Churchill wasn't alone in looking for opportunities in Texas.